Welcome back to Mark the Path. We have a special guest today, Bruno. Bruno.
Hi, hello. Nice to speak to you guys.
Okay, cool. Bruno, man. So what is it that you do? Tell us.
I am an account manager for a company called Law Business Research, or for short, I'll be referring to it as LBR.
So what does that mean to be an account manager?
Well, an account manager encompasses a variety of things. Depends on which industry you're in, but in this specific case, it's in terms of sales, and it's an account manager for subscribers who subscribe to data, marketing, intelligence, or information that our company LBR provides. So what I do is I manage those accounts of people that are subscribers, and I try to retain them as subscribers or understand where our product can improve going forward so that we can improve it for them.
So you have a direct contact with the client, and how does it work in terms of like you said, with the feedback? How does this work, or to make your product better?
Well, I'm in constant communication with my list of subscribers, so I would manage a certain number of accounts. This could either be based on region or even account size. This could be determined by the account size, that being the value of the account. But in this case, I would say I'm in constant communication with our subscribers, not only to sort of deal with any issues they might have, but also to point or put it across to them any new articles or any new releases that we might have sort of put out in the last couple of weeks, months or so, that they might not be aware of, or any type of news, upcoming programs, platforms, or improvements to the platform. It would be sort of my duty to inform those subscribers. So we're always in constant communication, and that feedback just stems from having a conversation with people and really just delving deep into what they're doing and how they're using the platform. Because essentially part of the job really goes down to understanding your customer and getting that sort of full understanding of how the platform or the product that we're providing to them is working for them and how it's helping their business. And through that, sort of getting the feedback of what part of the product is, working exceptionally well, or what part of the product that we could improve on, to then make things easier for them or even better than what it is right now, as well. And it's just feedback. When you get good feedback as well, it's a good way for you to then go to a next customer and then be a champion for your product. So if you hear someone say something nice about your product, you can then translate or take that information, say it to someone else without feeling like you're making up lies.
No, fair enough. All right, cool, man. So basically what we do on the show, we kind of go from what you do to now the origins, to kind of see how you started primary school, secondary school, college, if you can remember that far back, and then try to understand like what it is that you like during these stages of life, I guess. So do you remember like much of your primary school days, or not really?
I didn't go to the primary school in the UK. Just
okay, that's quite interesting. That's
that
a
crossover
first.
there. 'Cause, I mean, don't know what primary school means.
Okay.
But no, I do know what primary school means. I'm sorry, that was a bit of a throwaway joke. I do know what primary school means. I didn't go or attend primary school in the UK.
Where did you attend?
I attended primary school in Angola in Africa.
Nice. What was that like?
To my knowledge, up until I moved to a different country, I thought it was just a norm, usual growing up, primary school, go to school, carry a bucket as a seat, wear like these big ass white doctor lab coats.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
and then
interesting.
if you got the lab coats dirty, you got beaten up. And then if it was raining, you basically had to move your little bucket, or you carry your own chair out of the way There was no going home because the classroom is getting wet. There is, you better find a way to study today and do your work or not. And we didn't really have tables. You know how you have little tables like for you to sort of what do you call it?
We're not on video, bro. You have to
Sorry.
describe it.
So that's what I'm saying. You know when you have a table where you use it for support when you're writing?
Yeah.
Like you get a chair and then you get a table. So we didn't really have a table. So we had to use our knees or find a way. That's how I remember primary school.
That's really interesting. I was gonna say, it reminds me of like when we went to school in Colombia, like because I went to school in Colombia for a little bit, and man, it was just a shock. It's just that shock, like because obviously here you're used to like the classrooms all being closed in. You know what I'm saying, out there you're like raw, like everything is outdoorsy, like you know you don't have like you know full walls, like you have like breeze, you can hear like other teachers, and it was just really interesting. And then when you come back, you're like, raw, like what's it feels so different. It feels like a completely different world, you know. So did the teachers used to hit you then?
I don't know why everyone goes straight to that question. I think there's other things we could cover outside of teachers hitting children.
My brother, it used to happen here. It used to happen here, so
I'm not sure what used to happen here could really be considered called hitting in comparison to what I've been through. But I would like not to focus on that. I like to focus on
the education. Okay,
the
cool.
education and how it humbled me as a person, really. And I think sometimes after studying here for, I say for the larger part of my life, actually, you take things for granted. Like you actually take things for granted, especially in terms of your education and kids wishing that it would snow so that they wouldn't go to school.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a proper appreciation for what education means for kids, for your growth as a person, to actually sort of just create some stability in your life and show you how not to create bad habits to a certain extent. So I think it's really important to focus on that rather than just, did the teachers hit me when I was in primary? Yes, they hit me, and if you must know, they beat the bejeebers out of me. And, you know, I'll try not to swear, but
we'll come back to that in a second. It's like, okay, so in primary school you're in Angola, right? Is there any subjects that stood out to you? Subjects that you're like, I really enjoy this, or was there any teachers that stand out to you? You know, I mean, how many years did you do in Angola then?
So that I couldn't actually confirm for you. I think I went up until year 4 maybe in Angola. I think year 4, year 5. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it's a long time ago, so I can't confirm. But I know I started in Portugal in year 5, so it would have been. Sorry, I know I started in Portugal in year 5, so it would have been around that period in Angola. But yeah, Angola, yeah, I would have started year 1 to year 4, year 5, something of this of that.
So is there any subjects you remember from this time in Angola that you're like, yo, I like this, or this is fun, or, you know what I'm saying?
Well, we went to school, and then we also had extra classes. So the one subject I remember is I have this maths teacher from when I was in Angola. She's a really lovely lady. God bless her soul. I'm not even sure if she's still alive, but God bless her soul. Have very lovely memories, and I was really good in that classroom. I think it's the only classroom I didn't get I didn't get the
beats.
Yeah, I didn't get the bejeebers beaten out of me, to be honest. But essentially, yeah, that was one of my better classrooms. And one thing is, during that period, there was a sense of competition between me and my older brother. So it was always who gets the higher.
Well, you guys you guys weren't in the same class though, were you?
No, but we were like 1 year. He was 1 year above. I was 1 year below. So you know, you go back to your parents. Your parents want to see what grade you got. And we used to get graded out of 20. So
okay.
If he got 19 and I got 17, I've just earned myself a beat.
So your parents used to beat you too.
We shall not focus on.
Bro, you're the one that's saying it. I just have to amplify. I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to be transparent.
Okay, cool. So well, the thing is, the competition obviously was between you and your brother, but again, this teacher stood out to you. Why did she stand out to you?
As I mentioned, probably because she never hit me. But no, in reality, she was a really, really fantastic lady. She was very attentive. that the word I'm looking for? Yeah, very attentive, very caring. I've always been somewhat of an emotional child, which made me an emotional grown-up. But yeah, she was very caring and everything else. And yeah, she was very attentive. And I couldn't put it into words why. I just have this memory that this is a fantastic teacher. Even my mum still mentions her. I think my mum might have spoken to one of her sisters who saw her and she asked about me. And we're talking about like when after I've been living in the UK. So many, many years after. But yeah.
Okay, so that was until around year 4. Now you've gone now to Portugal from here, from Angola. You've gone now to Portugal to study in Portugal.
Yes, from Angola went to Portugal.
Until what age?
That's a funny question. I'm not quite sure. I came here when I was 13 into the UK. So
you would have started your secondary school in Portugal?
No. I did year 5 in Portugal. Year 5, year 6, and maybe year 7. I think. Yeah, year 7.
Yeah, because you're 13 in year 8.
For a whole year, I didn't study for a year and a half.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was that like then? I mean, did you study? I mean,
didn't go to school at all.
Did you do any home studying, or did your parents push you to study anything?
My parents weren't in the country. It was just me, my brother, and my grandma, and my own uncle.
Right. Nah, fair. Okay. Okay. Well, when you were studying in Portugal, then is there anyone that stood out to you in Portugal? Any subject? Any teacher?
Teacher-wise, I can't say anything. People-wise, I can tell this girl, her name is Daniela. Right? And she used to be the nerd. I say nerd like it's a bad thing. But she used to be one of the most intelligent people in the whole school. And for some reason, she used to have an issue with me because I used to get somewhat close grades to her and I wasn't really trying. So I think she used to have this a grudge against me, but I never really took it that way. And one of the reasons why I remember is I once did try, and I think it was science. It was either maths, English, and science, or maths, Portuguese, and English. And I destroyed her in all those subjects, and I've never seen someone burn me with their eyes so much. And yeah, man, it was like dust off my shoulder.
But still, the thing is, it's funny, I ask you and you constantly always take it back to some sort of competition you have with someone. But I'm asking you, in Portugal, what was your favourite subjects? Or was there a teacher that stood out to you?
No, that's why I said teachers-wise, I can't think of any specific teachers that stood out to me. But
subject-wise then? Because
subject-wise, that's why I would say maybe English, geography, and maths.
They were your favourite subjects? They were the ones you found most fun, or...?
Yeah, they're the most interesting. I wasn't a big fan of history and stuff, but yeah, English, maths, and geography were really cool subjects. Yeah. So I probably should have done more history, considering what I wanted to do.
What did you want to do?
Save people from going to jail.
It's kind of interesting though. Is this idea that I remember when I was in secondary school, it's the same thing they used to say, is that if you want to do law, history was a good choice. It would be a helpful choice for if you want to get into law. But it's kind of interesting, like when you think about it, how does that even correlate? Do you know what I'm saying? Like as a school kid who doesn't know how they want to get into law, how does history come into anything? Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, okay, cool. So now you've come to London now. You've come to the UK. Secondary school comes in the UK. What's the culture shock like?
I can give you a culture shock from Portugal first, because I feel like you forgot to ask. You went very quickly to ask me what's my favourite subject in Portugal. You didn't even ask what's the culture shock.
Yeah, but actually, yeah, that's a good... Go on, tell me.
I would like to just say Portugal and Angola were very different countries. Very, very different countries when I travel from one to the other. I was talking about the year 1994, 1995. I do apologize. 94, 1995 when I moved to Portugal. I don't think the world was as bright as people seem to pretend it is today.
You said you moved from Angola to Portugal in 94, 95.
Something like that.
But that would make you 6.
Yeah.
You said you moved in year 4.
What? I don't see. I'm not good with the maths. I think that's the year.
So year 4 is So you weren't there for a long time in Angola then, studying.
I would say I would, but this is where I get confused because I think when I went to Portugal, we might have went back a couple of years. No, not a couple of years. Might have went back 1 year from where we were left in Angola, or we went 1 year forward.
Okay.
I think that was the case, right?
Okay.
And also, you have to remember, as I mentioned, for a whole year and a half, whilst we were in Portugal,
you didn't study.
We didn't study. We didn't go to school. We were sort of in a limbo situation because my parents weren't sure as to how long it would take them to settle in the UK with my other little brothers.
Okay.
So me and my older brother were in Portugal. So during that year, we were very much in limbo. We didn't know what was going on. So we were just... And this is why I mentioned earlier education and having that sort of stability and schedule. Is that schedule the right word I'm thinking of here?
The routine.
A routine. Sorry, that's a better word. And having that routine being very important for growing children, growing teenagers, because, and this is not to skip ahead and whatever, because it's such a big disparity because from people who are going to school, focusing in school and going to college, to people who don't see their life going anywhere. So they want to go to this life on the street because they see themselves there. But then they get to a certain age and they don't understand what's happened and why they don't have a CV, why they don't know how to apply for jobs, why they don't know how to write their names, why they don't know how to hold a job because they don't know how to focus for more than 10 seconds. So again, I'll say education, having a routine is a big sort of benefit factor in growing up. But in terms of Portugal, to answer your question, what was the biggest change? It was definitely, and I do apologize if this comes across a bit. I don't want to use the word racist. There's another word.
What, they stereotyped? What?
Stereotype, maybe.
Well, and just tell me like...
there's a lot more white people in Portugal than there was in Angola.
Okay, fair enough.
And we never felt like different until we got to Portugal. And one of the first experiences, and I'm pretty sure I've told this story before, was a little kid pointing at us as a family and literally saying these words, "Olha, pretos." And if you understand that, that means, look, black people. And it was sort of the kid pointing at us and us going like, what the you know? But yeah, and also the school.
But that was a kid saying that.
That was a kid saying that.
Okay.
And it wasn't like the parents really said much to stop him. My dad had to be like, leave it, you know. And that was just one of the few moments where you had to endure that sort of behavior. Yeah, whilst I was there. But essentially the school, it was slightly different as well because when went to school in Angola, there was this fear of getting the higher grades and et cetera, because, you know, your parents are so focused on you have to be a doctor and engineer and all of these things, so you're constantly focused. And then in Portugal, after having a year off without studying, it kind of didn't have that same drive towards it. It was just I needed to do it, but I also thought I still wanted to be the best. So yeah, it was fun and everything, but it took a while to get back into it. And then to answer your next question, what was the biggest difference between Portugal and the UK? Without offending anyone, the UK had a very poor system of education compared to Portugal and Angola. And I'll just explain what I mean by saying this. When I arrived here, I left Portugal, I think I was in year 7, going to year 8. I got put into year 9 straight away with little to no English, which is, of course, that's no school's fault. But their way of supporting someone that spoke no English was to put me with the student who had the previous student who had arrived in school prior to me who spoke Portuguese. So essentially, his level of English was maybe 3 months, 4 months above mine, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. At least I'm with someone that speaks the language and etc. But you're then going into a classroom where nothing's appropriately explained to you. You're being told do this, and coming to year 9 where you have to decide what your GCSEs are going to be for year 10 and year 11, and having no clue about what GCSE means. I'm not understanding that if you fail, you still go on to next year. You don't repeat the year to get a chance to actually do, because this is what happened in Portugal and this is what happened in Angola. So if you didn't get the grades, you're not going to next year. You're getting stuck in that year
until you pass it.
And that's how you move forward. So coming to the UK and not having that, and then not being explained that, and then not understanding the language, and then just the behavior of the school kids as well. And I might sound like I'm being old, but God forbid if my children behave like this. I mean, I could not have it. And I'm not judging anyone with all children at one point, but it was such a disparity between Portugal and Angola. Like, kids in the UK are so, pardon us, was so disrespectful. The way they speak to teachers. Imagine where I came from, a culture where a teacher would hit you, to a culture where a teacher can't hit you, but a student can hit the teacher, and the student will still be in the right. Where you can't talk in a classroom where people are telling, now I have students or colleagues telling a teacher to F off, shut up, and all sorts of behavior. So the shock to the system was crazy. And I was just like, wow. And then my whole year 9, and then there was a few incidents in school involving violence with these kids. So you're now coming to a country, you don't speak the language. The education system is not matching what you were expecting or what you're used to. The level of respect completely out the window, and people are trying to sort of encroach on your person with violence or bullying schemes. So you kind of just revolt against those things and fall trap to the behavior. And this is why I continuously say, like, having that routine, and people might say education doesn't take you anywhere, but I'm like, education breeds routine. Routine breeds success.
I mean, I guess for me, it's interesting is when did your English become to a point of like, okay, I can understand now what my teachers are saying to me. I can understand, now other English speakers and stuff like that. Because again, you've come in at year 9. So kind of, I would say it's kind of a bit of a complicated time to come into a school with not being able to understand the language.
Yeah, no, it's yeah, definitely a very complicated time to come to school, not understanding the language. I thought maths would be my go-to, which was, and I do have a memory of, I might have a thing with math teacher, I don't know. But yeah, one of my memories of one of my best teachers when I arrived in the country was, his name is Mr. Hopt. I'm pretty sure he was Australian, but he's a funny dude, man. He was a great dude, bro. Yeah, it's a classroom that I really attracted me in terms of always liking maths and everything. But yeah, there was all that difficulty with the language. And also I felt what we were being taught in particular classrooms is things that I had already learned.
Oh, okay.
In the years I studied in Angola and Portugal. So I was like, why am I learning this again? What's the point of this? You kind of lose, there's no challenge. That, like I say, I like you asked me earlier, why is everything always a competition? Because that's what motivates me, you see. So if there's no challenge to it, I'm like, well, what am I doing this for? You get me? Like,
at what year did you say, okay, cool, I can understand English and I'm good? Like, I can have a conversation with my teacher, speak to them, tell them I don't understand something, or yeah.
So I would say, in terms of me understanding, or without the accent.
No. I'm talking about understanding. The accent is not really relevant.
Okay. Well, I would say possibly year 11.
Year 11?
Year 11, but not completely. So my first year of college, maybe around that second year of college as well. But let's say start from year 11, because there's certain things I still didn't understand, but I was very much not oh my God, I don't get this. I'm never going to get this. I'm like, if I don't get it, I'm going to find out how to do it. And I not just find out how to do it, I want to do it properly. So I was always using, I never fell trapped to the street language, street lingo. Right? Is that what you would refer to?
Yeah,
slang,
streets, yeah,
slang. I never felt trapped to the slang. So a lot of my friends, even when I was younger, from year 11, they would say, you talk like, and this is only because we were racially comfortable, so I do hope this doesn't come across wrong. You talk like a white person. And I'm sure some people can, in school, when kids go, oh, you talk like a white person, or you sound this and you sound that. Even though I had an African accent, given, and all my friends would still say, oh my God, you're such a nerd. You talk like a white person. Because I would use words appropriately or correctly. I wouldn't be in it, bruvs, brah, and all that. Although I'm very much guilty of doing this as right now that I'm older, which makes no sense. But when I was younger, I had this thing that I had to be eloquent and I had to speak proper. Otherwise, what was the point of learning the language?
That's fair enough. So, but how did you do in your GCSEs then?
Crap.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. So now you've come to college, right? So,
Yep.
Like you said, did you get to choose your choices in secondary school then?
I wouldn't say I got to choose them. It was very limited. I had very limited choices. Again, as you asked, how did I do with my GCSEs? I barely understood what they actually meant going forward. I was more of a, okay, this is my year 9. I'm not understanding anything. Let me just get my head around this. I'll just have to repeat this year. Because my brother, don't want to give his story away, same thing happened to him.
Right.
So I didn't see it as failure. I saw it as, okay, I don't understand what the hell is going on. I'm going to repeat year 9. So I come into the next year of school. I'm not repeating year 9.
Yeah, I'm in year 10. Why have I upgraded?
I haven't earned this. What is going on? I'm like, yo, this is not okay. So, and then they said, oh, your GCSEs. And I thought, well, I don't even know what you're talking about. So I tried to pick, I went with what was there. And then bearing in mind what I told you regarding law, history is a subject for law. There's an explanation there which we can touch on after if you want. But yeah, no, I didn't understand my GCSE, so it was just do what's there. And then to a certain extent, I understood better when I was picking the college subjects. But by then, I was already like, oh my God, I'm dumb. Sorry for the word. I felt, I wasn't as good enough. Because I'd spent the year 10 and year 11 just messing around and didn't understand what's going on. And like I said, bad company breeds bad habits. So that's where it was. And then in college, I met good people and then I tried to get my head around it. But in terms of the subjects, I just picked the subjects that were easy.
So what subjects were they in?
I wish I could remember. I think initially I retook maths and English. Sorry. Initially, I retook maths and English. And then I studied IT, which I think was BTech IT. Double award. Portuguese.
Yep.
And business.
Do you remember how you did in all of them?
I think I got distinction merit in business. I got an A in Portuguese. I mean, obviously, I got top of the classroom, and it pissed off certain people. If they ever get to hear this, enjoy that. We won't call out any names. And then I think, I got merit in IT.
Well, how did you do in business?
Distinction merit.
Oh, really? So you did well in all your classes?
I said I did well. I just coasted.
I was going to say, which of them courses did you enjoy the most?
I want to say Portuguese because that was just me being vengeful. But I'll say business. Although, I could also say IT because Mr. James.
I don't remember.
Yeah, Mr. James, so he was my IT teacher and my form tutor. Really cool guy. But essentially business was one where I was more like interested in discovering new things. Whilst IT, I just enjoyed the people around me, and although it was quite interesting, I never saw myself fully chasing it.
Oh, okay, I see. So Yeah, I guess you said with Portuguese it was the easy one because you spoke the language.
It wasn't easy. Thank you very much. You try to do English A level and tell me Portuguese A level is easy.
You know what? What's interesting actually? I had my previous conversation actually with English. Is the way I saw English. You see, it's like what do you call it? I always kind of looked at it as something has to be right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's either right or it's wrong. And when I was speaking to Charles, he was explaining to me the reason why he liked English was because there is no wrong answer. It's all about how creative you can be with it. It's about how you can justify how you've come to the position of the statement that is that you're saying it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I never saw it like that. For me, it was always a thing of is the right answer, is the wrong answer. And for me, it was like English, I could never get. It was like, it's confusing to me because I'm like, what's the right answer? It's like everyone was doing something completely different. At no point did I say, yeah, it's because of this. Do you know? Because when I did my Spanish A level, I don't even remember it, but I remember going A as well. But again, I felt like, again, if you was now to do Spanish or Portuguese now, again, equivalent in those respective countries, the outlook might be completely different. Do you see what I'm saying? Because again, you have to understand that they're looking at Spanish and Portuguese at a level for potentially English speakers. Do you know what I'm saying? People who are here. But for us, we have the benefit that we have the other language.
No, that's true. I'll give you an example of this as well. Remember, I mentioned I got A in Portuguese.
Yeah.
I struggle to write a Portuguese email right now because my brain is so accustomed to typing in English that when I type in Portuguese, my grammar is English grammar. So what you get is a very solid translation of what I'm trying to say in English, but in Portuguese.
No, I have a feeling though that again, with the languages that we use, the more we use it, the stronger that one will become. Do you know what I'm saying? So for instance, now with Spanish, I'm not as comfortable as I once was with it. Like for instance, if I would go to Colombia, I'd come back and I'd feel like I'm amazing at speaking Spanish. I'm amazing at communicating in Spanish, like letting people understand how I'm feeling about things, talking about things, and describing things, whatever. But now at this stage, where I'm like, okay, my main language I'm talking is English. If I talk Spanish, I feel out of place, and I feel like I cannot express myself the same way I express my English.
Do you find yourself translating Spanish words into English when you're speaking Spanish? Or do you find yourself translating English words into Spanish when you're speaking English?
So, for instance, if I'm having a Spanish conversation, I could potentially stop myself and say, how would I say this particular word in English in Spanish? Mm-hmm. Do you see what I'm saying? Because obviously, again, English is my stronger language. So I feel like I always have that. The same thing like you're saying with the whole email situation is that I think that's just bound to happen because now you're working in English, you're constantly doing things in English. So
I do have the opportunity to work in other languages.
Other languages?
Yeah, well, some of the territories I cover are Spanish and Portuguese, i.e. the difficulty in typing these emails. Also, guys, ChatGPT, just throwing it out there. Sponsor me. Sponsor us.
This guy, man. Okay, cool. So with college, then you say your favorite subjects again were Portuguese and business studies.
Business studies. Yes.
Okay, cool. So now, what's the next step? What are, like, for instance, your parents? What are your friends telling you? Like, what in your mind is the next step from college?
Well, the next step was to go to university.
Why? Yeah, why?
Well, because I personally, for myself, because I've always wanted to. I wanted to have that uni experience, you know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
So what, you're trying to tell me that it wasn't really anything to do with your parents?
No. That plays a part into it. But I'm saying personally, like for me, I wanted to go. I actually wanted to go and have that experience and do well and achieve what I thought I could do. Because I figured by that age, at that stage when I had left college, that shock of coming to the UK had become less.
Yeah. It felt a little bit more like home.
Yeah, it was a bit more like home. And I had a lot more sort of different friends who had the same goals of going to uni. So essentially, at that stage, I thought, yeah, I can do this. I got this. So I want to go to uni. I want to, graduate and be successful. Honestly, yeah.
Be successful.
Yeah.
I guess.
But my parents did play a big part as well, because they were like, go to uni, but they also didn't understand what the roadmap to go into uni was, because they
the path,
because they came from
something different.
Yeah, something different. They came from a different country, so.
Were they pushing you to do anything particular?
No, I've always said I'm gonna study law from a young age. When I was in Angola.
Primary school.
Yeah, even at home, I used to say I'm gonna be a lawyer. So they never really pushed me. My mum was always mentioning politics because I talk a lot, but yeah, I've always wanted to do law, so that was always my thing. So, to a certain extent, or a bit in forward, when I didn't achieve that, it created a really stagnant place in my life where I didn't know what to do, sort of thing.
Why law?
Why law?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to stop people from going to jail.
You want to stop people from going to jail?
Yeah, well, not just stop people from going to jail. I mean,
you want to stop people from going to jail?
Not in that sense of like save criminals that are guilty. I think that comes across wrong. But I meant in the sense that I wanted to be the reason why there's less injustice in the world and why people get more of a fair treatment. I wanted to be the reason why people became less scared of going to a lawyer for advice, either because they don't understand how it works, or they don't think they can afford him or afford her or them or organization. I wanted to be the reason for corruption diminishing back in Angola. I wanted to be the reason for why other children got inspired to achieve well, regardless of where you come from, whether you had to carry your own seat to school, whether you had a toilet or not when you were growing up. You know, I'd tell you a funny story. I didn't know what flushing a toilet was until I got to Portugal.
Mad.
Yeah, that's bro. The very time I used a flushing toilet, I forgot to flush. My grandma came and got me. You know, back then it was like you got to poo in the little toilet and get a bucket of water.
Yeah, bro. For me, it was funny. For me, it was really funny now that you say that, because I remember I went to primary school here. I was born and raised here, right? At the age of 6 now, I've been taken to Colombia to go study there. To go be there for 6 months, right? And I remember, because obviously there's lots of farms in Colombia, I was taken to a farm, and I went to the toilet. I'm like, bruv, how do I flush? I was like, flush. Everyone was just laughing at me, like, flush. So, bro, grab that bucket and throw it inside. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Is this meant to work? Like, bro, when I did it and it worked, bro, I swear to God, it was like magic. I was like,
That's
my God.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's like magic. Because I'm like, right now that I know how flush works, so I'm like, I don't know how that shit... I don't know how that worked, but, it went down. And let's not even mention the toilet paper situation, because there was none.
Wait, what?
There was none.
I mean, we had toilet paper over there, bro. What did you have?
We had newspapers.
Oh my days, bro. Oh,
you would live in lavish if you could afford toilet paper. So, like I said,
Wow, that's amazing, though.
I wanted to, and I've always had this thing. I wanted to give my mum and dad the best. So, and like I said, I really wanted to create that injustice, and I wanted to change people's mind about lawyers, and I wanted to show people that it's not that hard if you put your mind into it. You get me? Like, it's all about focus and knowing what you want to do and walking that path.
What's the thing? You say you've known, right? That you wanted to do this, right? So what has stopped you basically from reading or like doing other things to do? Like, again, like, what would you say is your level of understanding in law right now? You were saying, because if you are always, like, this is the thing for me personally, I feel like if you are interested in something, genuinely interested in something, nothing stops you. Do you know what I'm saying? Nothing stops you. Fair enough, you need to have a degree or whatever to get in through the door, but really and truly your study is constant if you're really into something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, especially with the legal subject, you'd never really stop learning, to tell you the truth. And to answer your question, 7 years ago, I was better than I am now, but that's based on certain the life things that happen along the way where I kind of lost my drive and my passion,
Okay.
and I stopped believing in how good I am, and just embraced the crap. Because,
The vibes.
well, I wouldn't say vibes, because there's embracing vibes and there's embracing crap. Vibes is not always bad. Vibes can always be good things. Can also be good things. Sorry, but you're embracing the crap. How can I put it? If you're choosing to wake up and stay in your bed till 12 o'clock rather than do something for yourself, even if that means brush your teeth and take a shower, you're embracing the crap. If you're choosing to stay at home and you know you're unemployed, but you know what you need to do to change those things. And I know I'm not saying this like these things are easy. I'm just saying I embrace the crap myself. So if you're choosing to stay at home and not go look for a job, you're embracing the crap. So it's that's what I did. I embraced the crap, and by the crap I took the easy way out.
Right.
I didn't challenge myself. I didn't make myself uncomfortable. As a matter of fact, I disappointed a lot of great friends along the way, because I was embracing the crap. And to tell you the truth, I might feel bad about it, and I do feel bad about it, but these friends are not making me feel bad about it. That's how I know they're great friends. They're more like, you can still come back and be great. Just, do it.
All right, man. Okay, so wait. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so we've finished college now, right? And now you jump straight into uni?
So my first uni experience, I studied business and law.
Okay.
And that was at Hertfordshire University.
Where's the thing now? Because you're saying, like, again, from what you were saying, you were talking about, like, criminal, this, that, the other. But now you're going into, what's that, corporate law now? The idea of going into corporate law.
Yeah, so that stemmed from, remember how I mentioned business in college?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the corporate law then came from that centre over there.
Okay.
But that was more also a pathway into then going into criminal.
You just kind of wanted a kind of footing kind of thing.
Yes, but also in a way was the path to becoming a barrister or a solicitor at the time just seemed a bit longer. And I thought, okay, where can I start working professionally and give myself a bit of financial stability,
right,
financial comfortability, while staying within the same industry, and then just being able to transfer to court work or barrister, solicitor easily, because I would have been working in the legal industry and covering those legal
isn't there like so you're like, it's one of them, like I don't know how it is, but with law you do your degree, for instance you do a degree, but then there is also some other training that you need to do before you can actually become a lawyer, right?
Yeah, so you have to do further training after uni. Trying to remember over here.
Yeah, because I think that's what I remember. It's the same thing like with, for instance, like doctors. They may do a certain amount of time, whatever, in school, and then there's another time they need to complete. That's practical, whatever. And that after they've done that makes them officially doctors. Do you know what I'm saying? There's again, you go and study law in university, and then you have to do something else, and then you're officially a lawyer. I think the engineers are the same thing.
Yeah, essentially, but it takes a bit more because you have to get the practice and qualification to be a solicitor. Then you have to be a junior, and then if you, as a solicitor, you then want to actually go practice law in court. There's some solicitors that are allowed, but not. Essentially, the rule is solicitors are not really court people. Court people are barristers.
Mate, to be fair, like for me, it's all like an unknown. Like I know nothing really about law. I don't know anything about lawyers. Not like I don't understand why they wear the wigs in court, bruv. Like it's all a confusing thing for me.
That's a sort of respect and cultural from the English side. There is actually. I wish I would. Perhaps it would have been helpful if I had reread a bit more into this because I could answer all of these questions for you very easily, especially the why that you wear the gowns, the little
Yeah. The little wigs.
wigs and stuff. But yeah, no, there is essentially to answer your question. As doctors, engineers, you do have to then gain further qualification to practice as a solicitor or practice as a barrister. One other that I can mention right now is a Silex qualification, which will allow you to work as a practicing solicitor. I think it's Silex level 3 or level 5. Something to find out though.
Man, it's all okay, man. Fair enough. Okay, yeah. So you went to uni to study business law. How was that? Like, how many years did you do?
I don't know if we want to talk about the stage of my life. It's very depressing.
Okay,
I mean, I mean, I could talk about it.
yeah, I mean, well, literally,
I'll-
it's literally just about the education. Do you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
the education.
Yeah.
Um,
Was you enjoying your course?
the course was fantastic. It was great. I was enjoying the people, all for about 3 weeks, and then I lost myself. But I will say that the course itself, wow, that's what I can say. It was very challenging, very educational. Definitely something that I was very much passionate about, and I was very happy to be studying. It was, man, I can't put it into words. The things you learn, the things you hear, the things you read, the amount of books that there are, and the amount of real life applications that you can use with anything I've learned was just, really, really, really good.
Okay, no, fair enough, man. So clearly that happened, and then what, bro? You started going into work now. From there, you're working now.
So I was at my first time I was in uni for about 3 years, and this was a mistake on my part because, as we mentioned, my competitive, never give up nature didn't let me understand what I was actually going through at the time. And just to be transparent, I was going through a mental health issue at the time, and rather than seek help, I then told myself, no, I've got this, I can do it. So so at that stage that happened, and then and then I didn't go straight back into work, I believe. Did I do? Oh yes, so I sort of just got lost in the world a little bit.
So okay, cool, man.
And then I started. My first official long-term job was with Calvin Klein jeans.
I was gonna say, so up to like where you are right now with your account managing job, how many jobs did you have before that?
Are we counting retail jobs, or should I just count the sales jobs?
You can count them. I guess because for me, there's a question I like to ask. Roughly, don't worry. Just roughly.
I'm gonna count like 9 or something.
No, fair enough.
I might be overstating some, but I'm pretty sure it's 9, if not more.
Like for me, I guess I'm curious, like, because I feel that it is important to try out kind of as many jobs as you can sometimes, especially if like you're someone who doesn't really have a clear direction of what they want to do. It's important to have a look into different jobs to see what it is that you like, what you don't like. I feel like it kind of shines a bit of a light on you a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Because as you do jobs, you start to find things that you really enjoy, things that you don't enjoy. And then I think at times what you need to do is really highlight the things that you like from every place that you go to, and what is the thing that correlates with all, and what you could do with these kind of things that you enjoy on, or try to find something that it can, for me personally, is bring the most enjoyment out of my work life. So for you, I guess, is the question is, from the place, what place stands out to you? Like from all the jobs that you've had, what job stands out to you, like in terms of, I enjoyed this?
Calvin Klein and Alta Vista.
Yeah, how come? Like, what was it about Calvin Klein?
Calvin Klein helped me to grow and get get over a certain part of my life that wasn't going well. And essentially, I got in there and became quite good at my job, made really good friends, really looked forward towards going to work. And you know what? They used to put me on 6-hour shifts and I would do 8 hours without getting paid for the extra 2 hours. And they'll look at me and be like, why are you still here? I'm like, you know what?
I enjoy it.
I enjoy being here. It's fun. I had that college vibes. I was like, college life with people. And
Right.
and then.
What about with the Alta Vista?
Alta Vista. That's when I was that's when I became a man. For the short period of time I was there, 3 years. But I know, tell you the truth, that's where I became a man.
Why is that?
Because that was essentially, from Calvin Klein, I worked in a few places, and then I went back to uni because I didn't finish in Hertfordshire. I went back to uni in London Metropolitan University, and this time I studied international relation and law, so you'll understand the dominant factor is always law for my studies.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and this time I self-funded, and this is during the time I was between Calvin Klein and Swarovski and such. I self-funded, but cost £9,000 to go to uni.
Different time now, yeah.
Different times, and then you're trying to explain to these people who trying to kick you out the first year, if you don't pay us, you won't finish your studies. And I'm like, well, I'm doing my best, but then in your second year is you're not showing up. And I'm like, well, you kind of told me that I need to pay you my first year. So, and by the way, I still got first in all my topics, but somehow I got kicked out because I wasn't showing. My attendance was below 95% or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know. But nonetheless, so yeah, after that, I went through that period where I didn't know what I was going to do regarding law. I was in a lost place and everything. So then I got spoken to about getting into sales, just to explain how my transition from retail, Calvin Klein. I even worked in Vision Express, optician dispensers as well. But yeah, so the transition was after that failed attempt. I say failed. After that second attempt at going through law and having that not going through, I went for a really bad place where I didn't believe I was good enough for any job in the world. I was really like, even the smallest job, I thought, bro, I'm not even good enough to be, I don't know, but a cotton picker. I can't work in a farm. I just had no self-belief. And then someone told me to get into sales. And then, I had 2 temporary jobs before getting into Calvin Klein. And I was very like, oh my God, sales, this is hard. This is difficult. But I so happened to land into Alta Vista with a fantastic, and I can't praise this man enough. His name is Mark Windsor. And also Tim Budgeon. Fantastic people, by the way. And then the team that Mark put together along the side team that Tim had, they were such great people that when I landed, even though I didn't feel like I was the best person at the job, they made me feel very comfortable. And then eventually it just grew into this amazing experience that I had. And I made a lot of friendships during my time there. Took on quite a bit of responsibility. And like I said, it helped me actually grow and become a man because I matured. Because that was then I was dealing with people around my age and maturing and was growing. Conversations went from when can we play football to buying houses, investing in this and all of that, and learning about and people getting married and as such. So yeah, fantastic place.
Yeah, fair enough, man. All right, man. Well, I now go on to my next bit, basically, where I ask you a few questions about kind of just, I guess I use this as a little bit as a guide for for whoever is listening out there. It's kind of like some questions. So, what makes you good at your job?
My self-belief in myself, my perseverance, and the confidence that I'm looking to find again. I know there's a bit of a conundrum there because I felt self-belief in myself, right? I know. I will never stop believing in myself is all I'm trying to say.
But that's the thing is, I guess it's like that's kind of like I guess a mindset, I guess. But what actually makes you good at your job? Like, what skills do you need to have to be good at your job?
I'm resilient. That's one of the things, because obviously a lot of people will tell you no. Sometimes it's hard to ask, why are you saying no to me? Instead of just saying, okay. I mean, sometimes it's easier to say, when someone says no, it's easy for you to say, oh, okay.
Yeah.
How often do you actually turn around to that person and say, oh, but why are you saying no?
Yeah.
And give that person a chance to actually answer. So don't just, once they give you the reason, don't become defensive.
You know what? As a question, actually, like, how many people you get running away from when you confront them? Why no?
You'll be surprised how often people really wanna just tell you the reason why they're telling you no.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
people want to tell you negative things like it's nothing, bro. It's funny, right? But the thing is how you deal with it, because there's a trick. So let's say, never explain to me why you don't like something.
Don't know. It just it doesn't. It's not something I want.
Okay, Mark, that's really good to hear, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But could you tell me a bit more? Why don't you want it?
I think the color looks a bit shit.
Oh wow, is it? I personally wouldn't have thought of it that way. But what exactly makes this color look or seem like shit to you?
It looks like poo, bro.
Okay, and is that just on from your perspective? But obviously, I don't want to disrespect, because I can see where you're coming from. But I just want to get a bit more information. Were you looking for a specific color outside of this one?
Damn, I feel like I understand.
So you probe, you probe, and there's better ways to do this as well. What you do is you use positive affirmation or reaffirmation to the person. So once you say no, I never go, "Why are you saying no?"
Yeah,
I'll say,
yeah.
"Oh, I understand why you're saying no, but can you tell me more?" Right? Because if you say, "Why are you saying no?" the other person gets defensive. I don't want to tell you. Oh, just tell me more. Just let me know a bit more. You get me? Never just So agree, but probe, sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Fair enough. Okay, cool. So if I wanted to do your job, what advice would you give me in order to be successful as I can?
If you wanted to get into the same job as myself in terms of sales, business development management, and account management, my advice would be go for it, but do some research into what particular sector you want to go into. I would also recommend that you read a book called Spin Cell. It's quite interesting, and it will just give you like this sort of idea of what selling feels like, and it will be a good way for you to understand the concept of selling rather than the concept of just picking up the phone, because it will ideally, what the book does is spell out how to sell. So if you can understand that, you can then put it into practice. And the best advice is, don't be afraid. Never assume that you don't know enough. And just listen, believe yourself, and persevere. And just any sales job, find a sales job that you think you might not want. Maybe it's a door to door. Maybe it's a call center. Maybe a mobile phone seller, and you do that for 6 weeks. Sorry, not 6 weeks, 6 months to a year. You'll understand whether sales is for you or not. Because if you're not able to sort of maintain there, then you're like, oh, maybe not for me. But also, that could then build you, or give you the skills to be even more successful, because you found it hard, but then sales becomes easier to a certain extent.
Fair enough, man. Would you recommend me to seek further education?
You as in yourself, or for the listeners?
Anyone listening?
Oh, for the listeners. I truly believe that it depends on the person, and it also depends on what further level of education you're pursuing. From my perspective, anything from year 1 to year 11 is definitely a must. A must. Yeah, a must. I know. That's not. Why are you laughing? I know that. I know that's not further education. I'm gonna elaborate on the answer. So once you state further education, my assumption is that you're referring from college and university.
Not necessarily. Like,
As in both of them, but as a separate.
no, it could just be a course. Like, for instance, again, if I'm telling you, okay, fair enough, I want to do a job in sales, or
Okay.
again, I want to be you. Is this something that I could do? A course that I could do that could put me in a good position to do what you do.
Okay, so I thought further education, as a generalist thing, is further education something that that I would consider a must?
No, just so like again, further education could be anything.
Okay.
Again, like if you're talking again for someone who is just coming out of school, let's just say they don't have GCSEs, it's fine. I mean, again, so if this person has come out doesn't have GCSEs, it makes no difference. What course can they do to make them again to put them in a better position to do this job?
Okay, there's a lot of free courses on Read and Indeed, and also if you sign up to LinkedIn, there's a lot of free material, free reading material, free courses that you can sign up to. There's sales community, there's sales podcasts that you can listen to. And in terms of you actually sort of chasing that further education, I would say something like Indeed or Read, because some of these courses are free, so you might not want to pay for them straight away. That would definitely be very beneficial. And then something along the lines of sort of Excel. If you really want to be good at it, like, you definitely want to get that Excel qualification, because it will come of handy and be a very good use. And then just freshen up on your word skills, because you might need to sort of put documents together, and not just the writing and everything, presentations, PowerPoints and everything. And then one of the biggest advice is, if you're scared, if your biggest fear is talking on the phone, or how you sound, or on the phone, or how you look in the meeting, just record yourself 5-10 minutes every day. Maybe do a script. I have some friends that I would call, and then we would just record our Zoom calls.
Okay.
And then, and then we would just watch it back and give each other feedback. And sometimes your friends can be too nice.
Right.
So what you want is someone to make it difficult, so you can then see how, when you're under pressure, how do you deal with it? Because then it becomes easier to do it the next time and the next time. So once you're in a real life situation and someone asks you a question, instead of you, you can go back with, thank you for asking that question. We've heard a lot about that before. I'll take that back. Or, I haven't heard that before. I'll take that back. Speak to our design team, and then we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Right.
No, fair enough, man. So, next question. What would I have to be interested in for you to recommend this job for me?
You definitely have to have a high level. Well, no, I wouldn't say a high level. You have to have a certain level of competitiveness in you, and I would like you have to get some gratification from achieving your targets, and you definitely have to have some focus on the money, because it's a difficult job. You will have a lot of failures, but it's those successes that will make you, drive you to stay and commit and be the best. Because I say difficult, but listen, if you put the work in, you can achieve like unspeakable things.
So you think that if I'm a competitive person, this potentially could be a good job for me?
I wouldn't just say competitive. I would also say competitive, driven, patient, and you would have to have good listening skills and not be scared to ask questions. I think that would be essential skills to have.
Okay, cool, man. So I guess the last question now is really, are you happy with what it is that you're doing? Do you see yourself potentially changing your path, or do you think I'm going to continue this with what I'm doing right now?
Last year I would have had a different answer for you, but essentially I did lose track of my goal. So as we spoke throughout the podcast, you would have noticed or heard me mentioning law and that being my path and dreams consistently. But then I ended up in sales. So I did lose focus of my goal. So am I happy? Right now I am. Was I happy before? Not necessarily, because I was just chasing the money, not the career, not my goal. I was just chasing a higher paycheck, the biggest paycheck. Didn't care where it came from as long as I got it. And that didn't make me happy at all. As if anything, I felt maybe it would work for a month, 2 months, and then after that, it's just like, what am I really doing? And then you become complacent because you're good at your job, you do things well,
And you get used to the money.
and then you get used to the money,
Yeah.
and then you're like, So I had to take a step back, and I did, and I'm in a more to a certain extent back into the legal industry with the aim of either progressing in the job I am in or within the company I'm in, and staying there for remainder of my life possibly, or using or taking advantage of the fact that I'm back in the legal industry so I can learn and rediscover their passion. And to a certain extent, I'm not aiming to leave my job right now, but to a certain extent in the future, maybe 5 years, 7 years down the line when I'm 40, because I'm 33, then if that path is available and I'm financially comfortable or stable, then chase that legal path, because I would then have the knowledge that it won't affect me financially as much as it would have right now, because I was offered the opportunity to go back, but then the disparity between paychecks was far too much. So I was sort of like, I said no, because it made no sense. But now I'm more open to it. But of course, like I said, I would like to place myself in a more financial, comfortable position before transitioning back to law.
Thank you very much, Bruno. Thank you, man.